Well, first, for me, the whole thing is kind of overshadowed by the beginning, which is, Moshe Va-etchanan. I mean, that's related to Tachanun, the prostration prayer. I mean, he's not just pleading like he says here; he's really begging for the opportunity to see the promised land, and God is wrathful with him. He says on the account of
as God so often is.
As God
the
so
Old
often
Testament
is.
God.
But the thing is what we saw last, what as it mentioned in Devarim last week. Joshua and Caleb were both rewarded for having kind of stuck by Hashem in the face of the apostasy of the rest of the crowd. And it seems very arbitrary the way that God has a wrathful response to Moses, whereas Joshua and Caleb are rewarded for towing the line. And then because the rest of the portions is primarily about delivering laws, it kind of seems to start off with a suggestion of the futility of following the law, because the outcome, the consequence is totally unpredictable anyway. Despite the fact that the Torah says all over the place that you will be rewarded for hewing to the law and punished for straying.
That makes me ask you, which would be more upsetting for your parents, if you came out as gay or as an Orthodox Jew?
Gay.
Gay would be more upsetting than Orthodox Jew?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
What would have been more
You should try
both.
Well, yeah, I could do both. What was more upsetting for your parents?
When I came out as gay, or when I came out as
yeah. Would they have preferred you had declared yourself gay or Orthodox Jew?
I think they prefer I'd be an Orthodox Jew.
Yeah?
Yeah. What would you rather? Your kid be gay or an Orthodox Jew?
I don't know that I have a strong preference. I mean, they're...
Seriously, you wouldn't care if your kid was getting cornholed by another guy? You'd be like, oh, that's fine.
I mean, there's a part of me that has a negative reaction to that, but, it's I don't know.
But you want to work in this town, so...
But, no, it's, God, maybe it's easier than dealing with women. I don't know.
What about if your kid became an Orthodox Jew? Would you think, what have I done wrong?
No, I don't. It's not, it's not a belief system that makes sense to me. But I don't think it would cause me any problems. I don't expect my kids to be kind of acolytes of me. In fact, I kind of hope they're not. But
I was listening to this great psychiatrist on the radio a few months ago, Dr. Stephen Mama, and he talked about life is like a spiral staircase, and we keep passing through 4 different phases, and we keep passing through them again and again and again as we get older and older. I've never forgotten this. So the 4 phases are dependency, mastery, grandiosity, and feeling small in a big world. So as an infant and as a kid, you're often dependent, and you gradually sense a feeling of mastery. Then you get, it's very quick to, I go very quickly from, once I feel like I've mastered something, I very quickly go to grandiosity, and then that always leads to a fall.
Yeah.
And where I feel like very small in a big world, and defeated.
Isn't
that interesting? Yeah, the spiral staircase, keep going through these 4.
And it rings pretty true as well. I think certainly in my life I can recall periods of grandiosity, and they don't last. Something always, the universe finds a way to humble you.
You were with Juicy for 2 years?
Yeah, I think 2.5.
Yeah,
like
2.5 years.
Yeah.
And so which of those 4 phases would you just say best describes your life right now?
I've the 4th.
Yeah, feeling small in a big world.
In a big world,
yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
And it'll be nice to move into mastery.
Well, it sounds like the next phase is dependency.
Well, it's not that they go consecutive. It's just those are 4 phases.
Those are the 4 phases
that we tend to move through.
I hope that I've been inoculated against. You would think that that fall, the fall
Right,
from
right,
from
right. Would
grandiosity,
inoculate you,
from
but it doesn't.
getting back to grandiosity. I think
It
in my
doesn't.
case, I've had some, the loss of my marriage. I mean, it was a pretty big, big fall in some ways in my life, and I think that I feel like I should be inoculated against grandiosity, but I guess it just doesn't work that way.
No, I mean, give you some money and you'll be as innocuous.
Yeah.
After you make your first million
Yeah.
in internet journalism,
Right.
you'll be as innocuous as
I'll be,
you
yeah,
ever were.
that's right. I'll be screeching my Ferraris up to clubs.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to do tour talk? We're going to do it at my place.
Yeah. We could do tour talk from my place.
I just love that idea of like the 4 stages.
Yeah.
It's like I was talking to an ex-girlfriend this week and just kind of catching her up on the past few years, and I think I said like the last 3 months I've been like a pretty steady 7 on a 1 to 10. So 10 is
Of like a
10
happiness
is
scale?
yeah happiness. Like 10 is really happy and 0 is depressed, and I'd say being a pretty steady 7. So I feel like a mastery of my life right now. I feel like it'd be pretty easy to move into grandiosity if like anything went my way.
Right.
Like anything goes my way, I'm going to very quickly move into grandiosity. And
Yeah, 7 sounds good. It sounds
Yeah,
like
7's a good place.
you're if you can maintain that, you're in good shape.
yeah, as long as my checking account holds out,
Right.
I can keep making those $1,000 a month payments on my credit cards.
Right.
I'll stay
You'll stay
in
at
mastery.
7.
But if something goes well for me, like if we get a bunch of people in the chat room, I could very quickly move to grandiosity.
Right.
Seriously, I was talking about this with my therapist.
Do you cycle that rapidly?
I can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just talking about this with my therapist yesterday. I said, feel mastery of my life, and she said, okay, this is dangerous because
Right.
you'll
Right.
very
Right.
quickly, easily move into grandiosity, which always leads you to falling.
Yeah. The strange thing is how fears fuel grandiosity and anxieties fuel grandiosity. At least in my case, it's kind of strange. There's
Because as grandiosity is a defense against fear and anxiety.
I
It's
guess
like,
so.
I'm so great, I'm so competent at whatever I'm doing right now. I have such strong relationships or whatever. I don't have to worry about my fears
I've beaten
of
them.
being left alone. And
Yeah,
ignored
it's
or-
like this exhilaration of
Yeah.
being beaten what you're afraid of.
Yeah.
And I know in my case, when I get grandiose, there's a kind of a manic quality to it.
Yeah.
So it's not a that sense of mastery. Ideally, it would be a kind of a calm. I don't know. I wonder if you genuinely conquer your fears, whether you could acquire that sense of mastery, because you don't.
Well, that you just keep cycling. You never conquer your fears.
Never
They
conquer
just
them.
change.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't fear right now being like stuck in a diaper tomorrow because my system is shut down.
Right.
Don't have that fear right now.
Right, but eventually
But
that will.
at
yeah.
85 and
Yes. Right. Right. Even if you master a certain time. in
Right,
your life,
right. There
life
are
cycle
always
will
new
always bring
fears.
The next fears. Yeah.
There are always new fears. There will always be fears, and dependency will be something that we'll always be cycling through. Because no matter how masterful and grandiose you feel, you can be totally dependent. Like you could take a wrong turn and be in a bad part of town, and your
Right.
car breaks down, and you start walking for help. And
Right. If you're under the illusion that you're independent of
Mhm.
kind of that your surroundings haven't helped you get to that appearance of mastery. If you think it's all you,
Mhm.
you're in for a rude awakening, because it doesn't work that way. You need the cooperation of your circumstances in order to feel like in order to get to that point.
And the same psychiatrist had like a 3-part definition for maturity, of which I only remember 2, but they were still very powerful points that I haven't forgotten. One is taking on responsibility, meeting it. That's a mature.
Right.
And 2 is the ability to handle anxiety without how much anxiety you can handle without hurting yourself or hurting others. Because as the anxiety rises,
Right.
like we all have like a breaking point where we snap. And we
Yeah.
lash out at other people
Or
or kind of
ourselves.
destroy ourselves. So how much
Much
stress
anxiety
and
can
anxiety
you
you can
tolerate?
handle before you have to lash out.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, it's seems to me that one of the first steps is to get past the illusion that the cause of the anxiety is external.
Right.
If
Yeah,
someone,
I don't know if I could ever get there.